We tried. We did our best. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. There were too many who never did get that Thanksgiving turkey. We ran out. We ran out of money. We ran out of certificates. We just plain ran out too soon, much too soon. But we did raise tens of thousands of dollars, and we did pass out thousands of certificates, and thousands did get a chance to eat turkey to enjoy, and they never would have eaten or enjoyed if we had stood around and done nothing. And by we, I don't mean we. I mean we. Without that kind of we, nothing would have happened. Because you see, this whole drive was put together without 50 meetings and 150 memos. In fact, it was done without one meeting or one memo. I just got on the air and did it. And then a whole lot of people, a whole lot of good people like the Pittsburgh Food Bank and the satellite food banks broke their backs putting it together. It's easy to say the words. It was my part. It's tough to figure out the mechanics of it all, and they did that, and they did it as best they could. That's what people did. But bureaucracies? The very bureaucracies that were created to help turn their backs and walked away gave no help or minimum help. That's not the way we do things, they would say. We have our rules, they would say. We have to follow orders, obey orders, and I would lose my temper. Follow orders, obey orders? That's the mentality of Auschwitz and My Lai, and I know of only 10 orders that were written in stone. The rest are to be reasoned with, and if common sense says break them, you break them. Unfortunately, there were enough reasoning, common sense people to overcome the rigid Achtung robots. And it was the reasoning and common sense ones who made it all happen. Yeah, I lost my temper. In fact, if I had a turkey for each time I lost my temper, we could have fed them all, every one of them, so I apologize. To the old-timers who know me, well, they've seen it often enough. They're used to me. They just smile and shrug it off. To the newcomers, I can't stand slow motion, and you're never going to make it in any business with slow motion. If something's got to be done, do it. Yesterday. Like Quay Lin, who could anticipate my temper and would somehow manage to beat the deadline of yesterday by 1 minute. To Quay Lin, shukran. From my very heart, shukran. Without Quay Lin, there would have been nothing. To the people of Merrill Lynch Realty in Squirrel Hill who spent days and days on the phones telling tens of thousands of people where they could try to get the turkeys. And as they listened to the stories of need, of hunger, they would get tears in their eyes, knowing full well that there just weren't enough to go around, hoping that this one would get. God, I hope this one gets. And the station was going to send out thank you cards to all those who gave. And the suggestion was made to take the money and buy more turkeys instead, and they did. Thank yous are nice, but turkeys are food, and you can't eat nice. And yes, I am sure that some undeserving people ended up with turkeys that didn't work perfectly. Not everyone who needed got, not everyone who got needed. There are greedy people, there are cheating people, there are out-and-out cruds, but they are more than balanced out by the good people, the generous people who sent in checks when they couldn't afford it. Someone else may be having it tougher than I, they would write. Or send in food stamps. Someone else may need them more than I, they would write. And I'd walk down the street, and they'd shove checks in my pocket and $10 bills, and I'd say, hey, don't give me cash. And they'd point that Pittsburgh finger at me and say, you we trust. And I'd turn away, fast. Because cynics aren't supposed to have wet eyes. And I pray to God that I don't have to do this again, and that by next year they'll all be working again. But if I do, then I know that you will be there again, because that's the way it is with family. Our family. Damn, you're a great family, and I love you all.